This is 911. Do you have an emergency?
Today on Rescue 911, heroic action. A car plunges into an icy river.
There's a strong current there.
And a young man's attempt to save lives from an underwater grave
He took that risk.
may make him a hero or a victim. Then, a little boy is severely burned.
We knew he was hurting.
Watch as a highly skilled trauma team works to save his life.
It was devastating.
On Rescue 911.
In an emergency, one call can bring help to the most remote locations and hope to the most desperate victims. I'm William Shatner. Tonight on Rescue 911, true stories of heroes who risk everything to save people in danger.
On a chilly autumn day in Elkhart, Indiana, 19-year-old Paulette Whitner was driving her mother Sheila to their second jobs. Stunt people have helped us reconstruct their story. Paulette had only had her learner's permit for a month. She was still getting used to handling her mother's oversized wagon and its automatic transmission.
I was doing okay until she started talking about you gotta drive with one foot. I always drove with 2 feet. I can't help it. It's a habit.
Near the six-span bridge, 24-year-old Todd Brill happened to be looking out the window of his mother's house.
I was standing in the living room. My mom and her boyfriend were standing in the kitchen talking.
When I was trying to drive with 1 foot, I messed up and I hit the accelerator. When I hit the yield sign, I panicked.
The heavy car had flipped over midair and landed upside down in the St. Joseph River.
There was a real fear there. You knew somebody had to be in that car.
Todd's mother, Nancy Brill, immediately dialed 911.
Police, fire, and ambulance.
The call came in at 4:36 p.m.
The car's going into the river.
When we continue.
He was down under there a long time. I remember Nancy looking to me very scared, but he was underwater longer than I thought he should have been.
The tremendous pressure of the water made it almost impossible to get the car doors open.
He was down under there a long time. I remember Nancy looking to me very scared, and I said, he'll be all right. But he was underwater longer than I thought he should have been.
I got a big lump in my stomach. That truck could have slid in that river. There's a strong current there. Todd could have got trapped in the car.
From up on the bridge, Nancy DeWitt had seen the car go over the side.
At the time, I thought he had just come out of the truck. I didn't know he had come out of the house. It was very cold. The water was cold. The air was cold.
It was dark down there. You couldn't see nothing. There was no finding anything. No door handles, you couldn't find them. Couldn't find window things, nothing. We figured if we was going down, we was gonna go together, so we held hands and figured when they got us either out, dead or alive, we'd be together still.
I couldn't see anything, so I started feeling around. The only thing I was thinking of was, what if I can't get the people out of there? Felt around and grabbed what felt like a coat, and I just started pulling.
Todd finally managed to pull Paulette free and drag her toward the safety of the shore. Paulette was safe, but her mother was still trapped in the car, and time was running out.
Todd finally pulled her out, and I thought she was dead. She appeared, I told Nancy, I said, that woman's dead.
When I seen him pull her up, you know, I didn't know if she was alive or dead or what. So I said, look, I done killed my mom and all this. I'm screaming.
When the paramedics arrived, Sheila was conscious, but having some trouble breathing.
Ma'am, can you hear me? We had two of them in the water. They just got them out. Don't know how long they've been under.
Todd was standing there in his wet clothes, and it was very cold at this time of year, and he was just shaking and just kind of staring over the whole scene. Looked to be kind of in a shocked state.
Half an hour after the car went into the river, both mother and daughter were taken to a nearby hospital where they were treated and released.
I went to Todd and I said, Todd, I'll always want you on my team. And those two women would have absolutely drowned if it hadn't been for Todd Brill.
You know, you can think how you're going to react, but you never know until it happens. You know, I couldn't have said that I would have reacted this way when it happened. I'm just glad she didn't tell me there was a Boy Scout troop in there or something.
Yeah, he's a hero to me. He didn't have to jump in that water twice and pull us out. He didn't save two, he saved three. Because we found out that night that she was pregnant. And she had a little boy.
That's right.
Paulette's baby son was born 7 months after the accident.
It's not every person that's going to just jump in the water twice when it's cold outside to go after people he doesn't even know. I said, a lot of times you read in the paper where somebody got killed and there's 400 people standing there watching it and nobody wants to step in, but he stepped in. He took that risk.
He had called him right after I found out I was pregnant and asked him if it was a boy, could I name him after him? And he was pretty well honored. So the 7 months later, on Mother's Day, in fact, I had a little boy. Named it Todd Allen right after him.
Todd Brill was given a Carnegie Medal for risking his life to save the lives of strangers in the St. Joseph River. Next.
You never know what could be coming. Is this something that's going to be just a scrape, or is it going to be a child who's going to die the minute it rolls in the door?
This year, nearly 13 million kids in this country will require medical care because of preventable injuries. Accidents are the single most common cause of death among children under 14 years. This story is not a recreation. It's a look inside Children's National Medical Center in Washington, D.C., where trauma teams wage a daily battle to reverse these tragic statistics.
You never know what could be coming. Is this something that's going to be just a scrape, or is it going to be a child who's going to die the minute it rolls in the door?
911.
Yes, I have an emergency. My son just got burnt with grease.
On what part of his body?
His head, his shoulders.
Word of the incoming patient is relayed to a trauma team at Children's Hospital.
One trauma stat burn, ETA, 10 minutes by helicopter, emergency.
When you're transporting children, your emotional state is higher because you know this particular child, in this case, has so much life ahead of him. You just realize how easy it could happen to your own children.
I'm here. This is a 2.5-year-old.
Two-and-a-half-year-old Christopher was accompanied on the 80-mile flight to the hospital by his father, Tommy Trosbach.
I was cooking dinner with a deep fryer, and the cord was dangling a little. I heard him say, "I want to see," and Before I could even turn, it was on him.
Okay, sweetie pie. He's got some burns on his forehead, over his left ear.
Christopher is put on morphine and examined by Chief Surgical Resident Ann Mangtolo.
Anybody who's burnt their finger knows that a burn is painful. And Christopher had about a 15% burn, so we knew he was hurting.
Matt, 66 syringe, please. It's right on the bed. There's two of them over there.
The trauma team is headed by Dr. Marty Eichelberger.
This is where you have to control your emotions. You have to be able to do the right thing for this child. We know that if we don't do it, there's no question the child will go on to die.
There we go. Find Mommy and Daddy.
Chris.
Mama, Daddy. Yeah, we'll go.
It's important that his burns are covered up, but it's also important to try and get him calmed down, because with burns, they're going to go through a prolonged period of having dressings and having painful things done to them.
We've almost finished. Yeah, we've almost finished. Almost done, huh? It's almost finished. Okay, buddy. You're okay, sweetie pie.
Okay. It's going to be a little while before we're going to be able to tell you how bad these burns are and whether they're going to need any skin grafting or anything like that. But that's something that we'll learn over the next day or so.
Yeah, baby. Look, Daddy. Look. There you go. You can touch it. You can touch that, won't you? There you go. You give Daddy a hug there. All right.
Clinical burn nurse Donna Gordon takes over Christopher's care.
It is quite an ordeal for a 2.5-year-old. It's quite an ordeal for anyone.
Dad, what we're going to do, we're going to take him back to the treatment room, to the tub room. We're going to shave his hair, then we're going to wash his wounds and remove all the blisters. We do ask that you remain out here while we do this.
We don't want the child to associate the pain with the parents. So when he is finished in that tub room, he can go back to the loving, supporting family that he's always had.
And we're going to go down to the tub room, okay? We have to take and shave all the area to see exactly where the burn is. And that way we'll be able to take and apply the medication after we remove all the blistered areas.
Gave him a little something to sleep, huh? The problem with burns is that you never can really tell the depth of it right at the beginning, especially with grease. The children at his age have very thin skin, so it doesn't have to be that hot for you to sustain a full thickness burn. It looks to me like it's a deep second degree, which is, it's not just the superficial part of the skin, but it's a little bit deeper. What we will do over the next 4 or 5 days is let the burn declare itself as to what the depth is, and then we will decide whether or not he requires any grafting.
Okay, Chris, now the water's going to come up here to you, and it's going to come all the way up, okay?
We must debride, which I mean to wash off all of the dead tissue that is on the burn, so we may be able to apply our dressings to them. It's a very painful process, and there's nothing that we can do for Christopher or any other child to relieve the pain completely. I know it's going to be the best thing for him. If it didn't happen, he could get very ill and he could actually die.
Yeah, we're done. We're done. We're done there, my friend. You're doing great. Just relax now.
Mommy's here.
Yeah. Mommy's here. Mommy's here.
After more than 2 hours of driving to get to the hospital, Christopher's mother, Carrie, finally gets to see her son.
Say hi, Mommy. Hi, Daddy. There we go.
It was devastating to see your child like that, to know the pain that he is going through.
Okay.
You feel responsible for every act and anything your child does, and when something like this happens, you just have nothing else but to feel guilty.
That same weekend, a helicopter arrives with 2-year-old Ebony Clark and her mother, Kelly.
This was a child who had ingested 10 to 20 cc's of lamp oil. My main concern was that she may have ingested this lamp oil and aspirated it into her lungs.
She was gagging and coughing, and she couldn't catch her breath. I was really scared.
The most important thing with the poisoning is that she be able to breathe, because some of the poisons that they take will actually stop your breathing and stop your heart.
Okay, Ebony, it's okay. It's okay.
If the child is alert and combative, those are good signs because we know that the child is at least responsive.
She needs a chest x-ray and she can go to room 8 real quick.
You just talk very calmly. If they sense fear in your voice, they will be afraid also.
Yeah,
honey, we're sorry.
Okay, just rest your head. There.
Here,
That's
keep
nice
your
and
bear
cool.
ready. Keep Bear there. He wants to stay with
When we
you
get to
because
8,
he's scared.
we can redraw.
Okay, he's
Just
scared
a-
too. Okay, you gotta protect him. Okay?
Mom's
and then when
coming.
Mommy comes, you tell her everything that happened, okay?
She's gonna go in.
Imagine she's going to be
Keep
okay.
it going.
It's pretty scary, but she's going to be okay.
Hey, Mom. It's Ebony.
Mom, Grandma.
Hey, Ebony.
Okay.
Mom.
Hi, Ebony.
She's doing good. She's really good.
Mom.
Why don't you just come over here? Who's Mom?
This is my mom. Grandma. It's okay,
Why don't you just come over here? She's real
It's okay, but if you...
When children go through trauma, they need a lot of emotional support, and they can best get that through somebody that they love and know, and that's usually their parents. So we try to unite them as soon as possible.
You can talk to me? She's all mad at you. She's not.
Here, why don't you hold this? Just hold it towards her face, okay?
Look at there's Grandma, too. Yes.
Mom, baby. Hi. Uh-oh, Mom made you angry? Oh, look at that.
I thought my grandbaby is going to be fine. I just wanted to just hold her and just kiss her and just say, it's going to be all right, you know. I was never so relieved of anything, I think, in my whole life.
The day after Christopher was burned, it's still too early to determine if he'll need to undergo skin grafts.
Christopher was very scared. He doesn't know why they have to unwrap him and hurt him. He doesn't understand that they're trying to make him better. But he knows that Tommy and I will do everything we can to try to soothe the pain.
When Ebony Clark is released after one day without any lasting injuries, her mother thoroughly childproofs their home.
We learned that you can't do enough to watch them, but you can go through, as we did, and take another look at everything that you have around to make sure there's nothing like that can happen again.
It's been 6 months since Christopher Trosbach was burned. Though his burns are healing well enough that he won't require skin grafts, he continues to undergo treatment.
He definitely knows not to go around the stove while I'm cooking now. That's something that it's so hard to express to a child because they just do not realize the pain and what can happen if they get too close to a stove.
Can you take them off?
Yeah.
The leading causes of death in childhood today are preventable injuries. You have to put the seat belt on the child. You have to protect that child's environment so that they don't sustain a burn. We as a society have to reduce this unacceptable epidemic, and that's the whole reason that the Safe Kids campaign has come about.
Want to hold the puppy? Be real careful.
It could have been a lot worse. We were lucky.
We kiss this puppy? I just like to thank everybody in the hospital, because all of them did so much. They helped us deal with our emotions, and that helps a lot. How many puppies we got? 9. Hold this hand out, too.
He's my only child. I mean, what can you say?
Lord, these fingers. 9, puppy. You know, hold this thumb in.
I don't think there could be another like him.
Spot on it.
Nobody could take his place.
Most accidents are preventable. As parents, we owe it to our children to teach them how to protect themselves and reduce their chances of serious injury. Safety information is available through the National Safe Kids campaign in Washington, D.C. This series is dedicated to all the men, women, and children who choose to get involved when a life is at stake. I'm William Shatner. Join us again next week for more true stories on Rescue 911.
Mr. Shapiro, step out of the car, please.